Let's get started directly. Our task is to understand why composition is so important, what it means in fact, a photo to be built based on composition elements, why you need to know the photography alphabet, how to master it, how to take an advantage of geometry, and how to improve your own style from now on. A lot of tasks, right? To answer all of these questions, we'll be using one photo only. This is the photo. Let's take a closer look at it. At first sight, you'd probably say, yeah, a good photo. Or, not a bad photo in my view. Or, as most of the people would probably react, oh, a wonderful capture. And that's it, up to there. They wouldn't start analyzing. And the reasons here are two. The first option. People are not interested in the analysis. The second one. They can't do it. Well, to tell you the truth, in most of the cases, people just can't do it. They either don't see it, or don't feel it, or can't express it. Because it's not about theory only, not about learning something. It's about experience. I've been into this for more than 13 years now. All the time, I've been aiming at creating one balanced, well-structured photo from a compositional point of view, with a story inside at the same time. Good story plus good composition. If any, I believe this is the formula for a good, strong photography. I do believe, and do repeat it, a photo with a great story can save the not so proper composition, and vice versa. A compositionally well structured photo can save a photo without a plot. When both of these are present, plot and composition, then you've mastered it, you've nailed it, you've found the key to a really good photo. Let's start with the analysis. This is always our heading point, our start. That's the way to understand why you like or why you dislike something. Something more. Analyzing, you learn and how you could shoot. In other words, you improve your own photography skills in this way. The first thing I see in the photo is the diagonal. How, where, why? Let me explain. Everything is quite simple in fact. This is the photo on the way I see it. You may immediately say, perfect. Just you're making it up. It's in your imagination only. There is no diagonal here. Give me a second and I'll show you the steps. Take a closer look now. The whole story starts from the down right corner. It's an arrow, let's say. It directs your eyes to the human's leg. The line and the leg coincide, you see, precisely. The line then goes through the silhouette, through the body. Pay attention to the direction after that. The line keeps moving, following the darker line, the shadow of the stairs, leading you to the upper left corner. Here exactly, in the upper left part, there are no precise lines, I agree. But there is another logic here. Probably you have heard about it. People start reading a photo in the direction they read and write. For those of us who read and write from left to right, well, this is the intuitive way our eyes to open the frame, to enter the frame. From the upper left down to the right corner. Nothing here is done by chance, you see it. The final step. When you combine these three supporting lines, here it is. The diagonal appears in front of your eyes. Just a little bit of imagination needed, and there is nothing wrong with that. We are creating images, right? Expressing ourselves through the magic of light, through the magic that light only can create. Enough with the diagonal. Let's move on. Focus on the three silhouettes now. Triangle, right? You see it. Probably you have noticed that the photo is quite well composed geometrically. There is a lot of geometry here, really. Take a closer look. Triangles, squares, rectangles, they are literally everywhere. The building, the lines, the reflection, everything adds to this geometry. Well, this exact triangle is the one we are interested in. This is the one you see drawn in front of your eyes. The question is why, right? How I chose it. The truth is that its role is a little bit more specific. It creates the dialogue in the photo, the dialogue between the objects. Let me just clarify something. When we speak about dialogue in a photography, it doesn't mean that there is one person talking to another person. Not at all. It would be too superficial. Dialogue is when there is contact. There is association between different objects in one photo. There is no need even these objects to be humans. Back to the photo. The dialogue here is between the shadows of three complete strangers. Obviously, they have no idea that the rest of them exist. Something more. The dialogue is in a triangle. Remember that geometry is your helper. It adds successfully to the value of each and every photograph. It makes it closer to people, even subconsciously, even when they don't realize it. Geometry is one of the composition elements. Based on it, the triangle in our case, we succeeded to go further and to combine three strangers in a psychological frame. Going deeper, the golden spiral. I believe all of you have heard of it, have seen it drawn as this. It appears usually on somebody else's photos, right? On this or that master's photography. The question is how you to achieve it in your photo. In fact, if you start searching deeper in your own archive, I'm sure you will find photos like this one. Photos where the golden spiral is applied. Your own photos. Just a small detail here. You need to be able to see in the photo in practice. Practice and theory. There is a difference, you know it. All of the composition elements, the rule of thirds, the golden ratio, the golden spiral, the golden rectangle, the leading lines. This is the alphabet. All of them are the alphabets, the letters, the basics. This is the photography alphabet you need to be aware of. You need to know if you want to speak in a proper photography language. As simple as that. And if you want to be understood as well. The more you know, the more you practice, the better you can express yourself through your images. One step further. When you are able to analyze your photos in this way to find the composition elements, It means that you are ready to start taking better photos. Simple and logical, in fact. You can see it, you want to apply it, you want to improve it. Don't forget that while you are shooting, you are building the frame from a compositional point of view. This is something I'm explaining and teaching in the full version of this course, Composition in Photography Masterclass. My aim is, till the end of the course, you to be able to shoot intuitively. It means without thinking about the photo technically. Not to learn something by heart and, unfortunately, to be unable to apply it in practice after that. You've mastered composition when you build it subconsciously. This is really important. I believe the full version of the course will help you improve your photography. The way you take it, the way you analyze it, the way you are getting ready for the next shot. A discount coupon for the Composition in Photography Masterclass you may find at the very end of this course. I'll be happy to see you there as well. Let's come back to the photo and continue with the analysis of the golden spiral here. At first sight, there could be someone who says, well man, this spiral is, I'm sorry, but in your imagination only. Okay, let me continue and show you how the spiral is formed, step by step. The beginning again, down right corner, the line that leads to the leg of the woman, a known story already. That's how the dynamics in the frame starts. Let's follow the dynamics. Exactly. The arrow continues. It's the body language which indicates that the shadow continues moving up. We've just built the beginning of the spiral. Congratulations. Follow the arrow now and take a look up. The shadows on the column. Pay attention please to the curve formed by the shadow of the parapet and the shadow formed by the woman's back as well. I guess it's a woman at least. Down to the edge of the dress. Well, here is what I see. The feeling for the movement I have in this part is created on that way. The easiest step. You know the approach now. Follow the arrow again. Go down, down. Yes, the shadow in the down part. Exactly. A woman one more time. Take a look at her ponytail, at the curve of the face. You can easily understand that she's looking on the right. Rotation, circular motion. You see it now? This is the idea I wanted to show you. How it is built, step by step. Now I guess the golden spiral would look quite proper for you as well. You'll be able to see it, to analyze it. I told you, it's about knowing and, most importantly, seeing the composition elements. The first time when you shoot and the second time when you select among your own shots. There is one more plus every time when you see the golden spiral in the photo. Our eye, the human eye, is subconsciously used to it. Let me explain. You can see the golden spiral everywhere, literally. In the human body, in architecture, in nature. It's part of the world around us. Which means that when you achieve applying it in a photo of yours, this photo has stronger message, has stronger composition, and of course can be easily accepted by your audience. In the full version of the Composition in Photography Masterclass, you can see really a lot of examples of photos, of analysis, of how the universal rules are applied. Just you need to believe that you are able to master this element in the near future and to work on it. Every time when you succeed in composing the golden spiral in your photo, you will easily find the golden rectangle. Just be careful. The opposite is not true. The fact that you see the golden rectangle does not mean that you will certainly have the golden spiral as well. This composition element, the golden rectangle, I do like really a lot. One of the reasons, it's easily read, easily recognized by a human's eye. At the same time, it's easy to create it, to see it in the world around. I'm sure your question now is, why is this line there and how I came to it? The familiar approach. A little bit of imagination, a little bit more experience, and let's explore it step by step. This here is the line I use as a guide, something I've been repeating to my students all the time. It's not important, remember it. It's not important the elements we speak about to coincide, to match up to the smallest detail. Everything to be perfectly straight, everything to be perfectly diagonal. Whether you speak about lines or about dots of balance or about diagonals, they need to be approximately located, and it's important. On this way they help you build the frame on the way you'd want to. The experience you have in shooting as well as in the analysis, the easier it will be for each of you to see and use these elements while creating your images. A step further, look at the colon itself. It does also split the photo into parts. Use your imagination to make it straight and you have no doubts at all. A square and a half. There is a way to see it better. Here it is, darkened. Now you can see the idea without any problems. Last step to explore this composition element. It's a trick I'd want to share with you. What we'll do is to take the same photo, just diminished, smaller in size, I mean. Let me first explain why we did it. It's an approach that's widely used by painters. They use a canvas, a tripod, and what they do is to move several steps back. Probably you have noticed it without thinking why it is done. Well, we as photographers are a little bit more privileged. No need to step back from the screen, just diminish the photo. The idea, when you do it, you can perfectly well see the composition. Painters, another trick, usually make a scheme of the future painting, just on a smaller piece of paper. You literally can't sit down and start working on each and every detail. What you need is the basics, the frame. The frame, you know it, is created based on the composition. The leading composition elements are what really matter at this stage. Our next stop will be here. I'll explain what it means. When you apply this trick, the trick by the painters, you can be sure that you have seen the bigger picture, that you have done your job with the photo. My personal approach, let me share it, there is not even one photo of mine that I show wherever if I haven't checked it in this way, in the diminished way. The final version of each photo of mine goes through this examination, let's call it. And it's important. I believe in this. Another interesting composition element I've mentioned is the leading composition object. It's quite an intriguing story here again. Look at this shadow here of the woman. 3 women in the photo, did you pay attention? It's a good number. In fact, 3 hides a lot of symbolic meaning in itself. The shadow. Exactly this one is the leading composition object. How I've understood it, why I've chosen it, well, in short, the leading composition object is the one the photo cannot exist without. Again, the leading composition object is the one the photo cannot exist without. This one here, you see it, it can perfectly fine exist on its own. The other 2, the shadows, are somehow on the second line. On the other hand, these 2 shadows, as I've mentioned, they cannot exist all by themselves. There is something that is not enough, something that misses here. The image, I'm sure you feel it. It is not balanced enough. It's going to fall into pieces, literally. Balance and leading composition object. 2 of the basics that in fact very few people pay attention to, that use and analyze, unfortunately. Just don't let be misled here. Don't make a mistake. A leading composition object does not mean a bigger object. Again, it's the one that keeps the photo as a whole. The shadow that we removed, this is our leading composition object in this case. Once it appears, the balance is back, the photo is back. More details, explanations and analysis on each and every of these composition elements you may find in the full version of the Composition in Photography Masterclass. A discount coupon, as I've told you, you may find at the very end of this course. Last experiment, the golden triangle. It's not that common, not that easily achieved, but again, quite close to our eye. Probably you have noticed how many different elements we have found in one and the same photo. Pretty proper one, for an example. Yes, no rule of thirds, no golden ratio, but it would be really impossible to find everything in one single photo. However, all of these are explained with a lot of examples and details in the full version of the course. Golden triangle here. You may have it on this way, as well as on that way. Geometry lets you play with composition, lets you explore your photography deeper. Good composition, based on proper geometry, can make wonders, literally. Looking at the golden triangle, you see a diagonal again. Here it is, from the very beginning as we started. The very first element we started with, remember? Furthermore, there is communication between the crossing points of the triangle. A bonus, let's say it. Quite a proper one more time. Honestly speaking, I love this example. In a simple way, within half an hour, it shows so many composition elements combined together, existing together, making the whole image be liked on a subconscious level. Last but not least, proving that composition is what matters, when it comes to the overall acceptance of the frame. Congratulations to you too! We've just made a really thorough analysis of a single photo. Saying it again, one single photo. Imagine what it would be when you master these techniques, when you are able to play with composition elements in your own images. When you start seeing, start analyzing, start improving the current style of yours. I've been through all of this. I've managed to learn it, to feel it, and to do it. And now came the time to pass it further. I'll be really happy if I have the chance to share my knowledge with you. And do believe it would be useful for you as well. See you in the complete version of the course, Composition in Photography Masterclass.